Good day and welcome to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. So in this one we are doing the next stage of SBR, the Extreme Physical versus Super INT SBR, as part of my SBR series. So in this video, similar to all the other ones, no summonable LRs, as many free-to-play cards as I can fit in, and of course avoiding any exclusive cards of any kind or any hard to get cards like the crossover units that are only around once a year. So as you can see in this team build, we've got the free to play movie bosses Frieza, we've got the free to play second form Frieza, we've got the physical Vegeta, who is a wish strips unit, and then we've got the Easy A Goku Black as the lead, along with the physical Cooler. So how my strategy is going to work here is I'm basically just going to run the Easy A second form Frieza with the Cooler, and I'm going to run this friend LR lead Cell with the Goku Black. Goku Black's an orb unit, so he's going to perform much better depending on getting a lot of orbs. He also lowers attack and defense, so what we're going to do is we're going to use him to just kind of stifle the damage that comes from the main attacker in each team, that being Krillin for this turn. You can see I'm contemplating using a item here, but I'm just going to scan it out, and then eventually I just kind of roll with it anyway, just to see what kind of damage we're going to be taking. So a super attack straight up is obviously going to hurt 136,000, so you can see we take a lot of damage there, but that lets me know kind of how much we're dealing with here. Then we'll have Krillin do us a big attack, but luckily we lowered his, and then fortunately for us, Cell is going to be able to increase our health, because he increases health on this 12 key, which is this AoE one, and that's going to just help us kind of survive out this turn. And then Broly's going to come in at the back. It's important that if you're using this Broly, this Easy A physical Broly, that you really only have him in the second or third slot. He has to SA, otherwise he's just not going to do very well at all. So here we use the Princess Snake, because we need a heal, and the damage reduction is going to help, and we should be able to finish it off in this turn. I've level linked this Cooler quite a lot, so he's sitting with decent level links, so obviously that does help quite a bit, him and the second form Frieza, because I plan on using them for my Wicked Bloodlines SBR when that's released. So he does have decent links, which obviously helps in this situation, but overall he's a very good card to use for this event. Same with the second form Frieza, his AoE attack and his buffs that he gets in his active skill really helps in this kind of event. This movie boss is Frieza. He's okay. He gains defense every time he gets hit, and he provides a buff to movie boss's allies, which is helpful for the Cooler and the Broly, but not so many others. Now you're going to see me use a Cell here just to get the 12 key so that we can heal up a bit more, and then obviously trying to get as many orbs as possible just to heal up and get the Dokkan attack. We're going to take as many orbs as we can. Cell's going to sit here, and he's going to dish out the 12 key, and he's going to heal. So in terms of this team build, as you can see, we take quite a bit of damage, but we also dish out a decent amount of damage. Because of the friend Cell, you have a reliable heal in AoE, and you have two decent AoE units. Due to the link leveling update and the change in the links, second form Frieza with the Cooler will also always activate the enemy's defense down, which means that they can constantly keep up their full passive, which is going to be very helpful when we get there. But for now we're just going to activate a Icarus, because we saw how much damage we took in that first turn, and we really don't need Test Fate again, and we're just going to go and try and eliminate Gohan. There's no real preference for who we eliminate, but yeah. So Kuna's tanking alright. He isn't a big bad boss is activated from this movie boss's Frieza, doesn't have the link, so having big bad bosses will really help him just tank like double digits. But he's dealing out decent damage under, you know, such low leads. I mean, 1.2 million again without big bad bosses activated is pretty good. It's very helpful. So yeah, definitely a good unit to take. And then this Broly, now 700k there. I only have a single. Actually, I don't think I have a single dupe in this Broly. So if you do have them, you can get them with wish strips. Definitely a unit I suggest putting some dupes into. He's really good, and with dupes he can become really impressive. He also links very well with other Broly cards, so he's quite nice to have on the team. And then yeah, we're gonna go with the Cell here. So you can see I'm just trying to get the 12 key super attack as best I can. And then we're going to have Vegeta attack Goku at the end. The reason why I kept Goku alive, well, it didn't matter because technically Gohan also counts, but the nice thing about this Vegeta is he gains buffs from fighting Goku family members. So in this stage of this SBR, he's going to get a little bit of an extra defensive buff and a little bit of an extra attacking buff, which is really going to help him just kind of tank some hits and not lose us so much health at the back end there. He's okay in long-term events. He stacks attack and defense, but he struggles in these short-term events, especially these kind of ones where, you know, maybe we're not running under a full lead and he's not got a lot of support or decent links. But I mean, if you're looking for a filler, he's great and he's quite common. He's a non-DFE and everything, so you should get quite a few of them. This is a rotation now, this Cooler and this second form Physical Cell rotation. It's like the one that's going to sort us all out. You can see there that Cooler's just doing tanking pretty well. I mean, he only took 6,000 damage without an Icarus still active, which, you know, before he was taking 8k with Icarus. So obviously that's just the sign of how he tanks when he's got that big bad boss that's activated. Another two-person fight. The two-person fights are sometimes the harder of the fights. You know, they can cause issues, I want to say, comparatively, just simply because they both hit quite hard and usually they split their attacks quite well, so it does obviously cause problems. Here I'm trying to maximize the orbs I can get, just to basically see how many I can get Goku Black, because the more he gets, the better he's going to tank and do damage. So it's important to try and maximize his orbs as much as possible, and unfortunately I didn't get much of a luck here. Good job. So Cell, again, 12 key, is going to heal up, and then Broly is going to follow up at the back end with a couple of super attacks. You'll notice in these two-person fights, I'm really just basically focusing down a single person at a time. Not really like splitting the damage or anything. That's just simply because I don't want to catch two supers in a single go, because that's not going to end well. But yeah, so when you lower the attack there, you'll wonder why they're all tanking so decently. That's because Big Bad Bosses is activated for him. So yeah, except for Broly, because Broly doesn't have Big Bad Bosses, which is one of the biggest bummers in the game. He has Berserker instead, which is an okay link, but it's just not as impressive as Big Bad Bosses. But yeah, so now that we're sitting in this situation, we're going to hopefully remove the Vegeta from the discussion, and we're going to have obviously Frieza sit there, and then we're going to have Vegeta follow up in the back end. So yeah, you can see the units are just really tanking pretty well now. Cooler does an incredible amount of damage. I did full crit build on my Cooler, because that's definitely the way to go. He has a high chance. He does additional attacks and has a decent chance into super. So you're traditionally going to get at least one at super and maybe two normals, or at least two supers and a normal. That's kind of what I'm seeing from him. So yeah, definitely put some crit on him and use whatever spare slots you have if you've maxed out on crit for additional, because additionals can proc off his normals, so you can hit his two normals and then possibly hit a further additional, for example. So yeah, definitely want to do that. Anyway, this cell is great. He's going to heal us up with his 12 key, which is going to help, and then we're going to have Goku Black come in at the back and lower the attack and defense and do it quite a bit of damage. So as you can see, we're running pretty smoothly here. I wouldn't say as smoothly as my other runs, but we don't always get to choose the luck that we have. The main issue here, it seems, is damage. The opposition can do quite a startling amount of damage, also it seems. So here, similar thing, I'm just going to fight Goku and try and eliminate Goku before taking out the other two. This being just because he has more health, and he, or at least for me, I consider him a larger threat. So, good job. So there goes Cooler, doing cooler things, big boy damage, getting those crits, 2 in a row. He's going to take a decent chunk of damage here, but we activated the 50% reduction as well from the King Yama, so we should be okay. That AoE is very nice. Good job. So we're looking pretty good. Broly's going to come in, do some decent damage, and I think Goku's going to live, but we do pretty well. This Broly also stacks critical on each attack. Critical chance, which means that he essentially after a while becomes an auto critting machine. I think he can get up to something like 42 or 49%, basically half of his attacks will crit, which is obviously very good. For long-term events, he can become a decent unit. He stacks attack and defense, so he can really start accelerating, especially with a couple dupes. And that crit chance is going to help you at the back end of those events really dish out some damage. So right here we've done quite a bit of damage to that whole lineup that they had that came from our previous turn. So we should be able to essentially take this out. You'll notice I used the 18 key of Cell for once. This is simply just because I'm trying to eliminate the units as quickly as possible, mainly to try and control the fight and also just get them quite low. As we sit here now, we'll have probably this Cooler finish them off. We check his defense, it's about 84k, which is quite good. Same with Frieza, it's just generally decent damage and defense for this kind of SBR and this kind of stage where you're sitting under 120% or 100% lead and you just kind of want to get through the event. This is exactly what they're for, and how they're super useful. So yeah, we do the Dokkan event, which is great, and yeah, we managed to pretty much clear them out. Frieza does a good job. This Frieza is great with his AoE damage. Even though this was a Dokkan attack, he still would have done AoE damage, which obviously would have been very helpful, has been helpful this entire stage. And yeah, that's the run. So overall, team's not too hard to make, and the run isn't too bad. It's definitely the hardest one so far that I've done in these videos. But yeah, cool. Thanks guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck for your runs, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, and bye.